New York's classic rock, Q1043.
Joe Coy is with us this morning here at Q104.3. Good morning. I noticed that Shelley did the whole grind the coffee beans that she grows in her backyard and spend half an hour making you a cup of coffee.
Yeah, it's fun to actually come to a place that actually has a barista as well.
Well,
she goes, how would you like it?
Second person this week that called me a barista.
Well, you are. I mean, you really stood in front of that machine. You asked me how many beans you want me to grind. She goes, you want it one? You want one bean or four beans?
Well,
and then she pressed a button, and then Jim walks in. He's like, I just throw this pouch in here with hot water. It's the same coffee. Coffee's coffee.
Well, yeah, that's my view is hey, mine takes 20 seconds to make. It's not as good as Shelley's, but it's more efficient. But the thing is, hanging out with Shelley by the coffee machine must have made you feel very much at home.
Yes.
Because you began your career performing in a coffee house.
Oh, yeah, nonstop. I think every comic has a coffee house story, but mine was really special. I loved going there. It was every Wednesday night. It was called Buzzy's Cafe. And people started coming out to see me. Like, it would be packed. Like, I think maximum capacity was like 15 people that you could sit in there, and I mean, it would be packed. Every Wednesday, people would come and see me. I got my first big gig from that coffee house, so it's really cool.
Somebody who came to see you?
Yeah, it was a booker. There was a booker, and he came in, and literally when I walked off, he got me a gig.
Did you know he was there, that a booker was there?
Yeah, it's not like a booker. It was kind of like another comic that just happened to have a room, you know, but when you're coming up, that was a guy that was booking, you know what I mean? So it was really cool. I can't remember his name. It was so long ago. That's 30 years ago. So
yeah, but you gotta remember. You gotta find a way to remember.
I
his
know.
Name. You're gonna need it.
Well, I do remember Kevin Kearney. He's the one that booked me at Catch a Rising Star, and that was my first major comedy club room, and that was in Vegas as well. And I still remember how much he paid me too. It was $100 a show. So I just recently talked to Kevin Kearney not too long ago. So that was kind of cool to like.
Well, he must be very proud.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, look what's happened. You're one of the most successful entertainers in the world.
Thank you. It's nuts. It's crazy to even say
don't
it.
Thank me. I had nothing to do
No,
with it.
it's just nice to call that out. Like, I mean, it's you know, when you work in this business as a stand-up comic, it's kind of lonely. You know, people, you know, even when they don't know who you are. Like, I could sell 28,000 tickets at the Forum. I'm the only comic that's ever sold four sold-out shows at the Forum, and you know, and I'm doing multiple arenas. You know, but you know, when you're a comic, you tell people you're a comedian, they don't know you. They're like, "Oh, okay, great." Like, they right away they're like, "Oh, cool." Like, what coffee house are you at? I was like, "No, I'm playing Madison Square Garden."
Yeah, well, the Netflix special that came out day before yesterday, on Tuesday, was recorded at the L.A. Forum.
Yeah, that was amazing. And when they kept, you know, Netflix always wants a title. And I'm not a fan of titles, you know. I was always in love with, like, when you see the word live. I love that. That's why I keep naming my concerts live, like Live from Seattle. And then they wanted a name for
Live from Seattle. That went to #1 in Billboard magazine. For a comedy album.
That was nuts to see me and Adam Sandler 1 and 2 was my idol, and then here I am. And by the way, I produced Live from Seattle myself. I was turned down by Netflix. They didn't offer anything, and they said no, we don't want it. And I went and shot Live from Seattle myself with my own money. And not only did I shoot it myself, but 2 days before I was about to shoot, with all the cameras and the directors and the producers and everybody in-house and ready to go, they called and said, "Hey, we heard you're about to shoot your own special. We just want you to know we really don't want it." Like, they literally said that, and we shot it anyway. And I knew once they see this special that they were going to buy it. Like, I just believed in that hour so much.
And it went to #1.
And it went to #1. It crushed, by the way. Like, that special changed my life.
And this is the 4th special.
This is the 4th one on Netflix. Yes.
And
6 total.
Wow.
Yeah.
And you had a feature film recently.
Very recently.
And what God, this is crazy. You're bringing me all that you're saying this, but like, my second Netflix special was called Coming in Hot, and that's the one Steven Spielberg watched. And then we got the call from Spielberg's people to go in and have a meeting, and I had no idea. I thought it was just going to be some kind of general meeting with Amblin. And the minute I walked into the building, it was like every other person was like, "Oh my God, Steven loves you. Steven loves you." And it was to the point where I was like, "Are you talking about Steven from accounting? There's no way it's Steven Spielberg." And they're like, "No, it's Mr. Spielberg." And he wants to make a movie with you. And that's how I pitched that movie. And literally it got made just like that.
Well, did you already have the idea in your head of
Yeah.
what the movie would? Yeah.
And here's how powerful Steven is. I already had the movie in play with another producer, a beautiful guy by the name of Dan Lin. He runs Rideback, and he made Lego and Aladdin and It 1, It 2. So he's got credits. He's made beautiful movies, but that movie wasn't moving. And the minute Steven joined in, it moved that fast. It was like lights out. It was we had a director, we had a writer, we had everything that you needed, and not only that, then the pandemic hit, so everything shut down. So I thought my dream was done. I was like, okay, it's not going to happen anymore. And Steven reassured me. He was like, no, it's going to open back up, and when it does, we're shooting it. And 6 months later, we're in Vancouver shooting that movie.
It's Easter Sunday, by the way, and it's been a tough time for movies and
Yeah.
for the movie business. So for our friends who haven't had an opportunity to see it or possibly haven't heard about it, you can find it.
Oh yeah, you can find
see
it. It was he did a theatrical release with me. It was the first comedy ever in 4 years to be in theaters. And he put it alongside Jurassic World. He only made Jurassic World in my movie. It was so crazy. So it was cool to be in the theater with my son, and we went to go watch Jurassic World, and my trailer comes on before that, and I'm just looking at my son. I'm like, I can't believe what's happening right now. So it's on demand now because it's it's been almost 2 months now, and but not only did it go on demand, so Amazon Prime, you can watch it now, but now it's overseas. So now it's in theaters in the Philippines, Dubai, and other countries. It's crazy. It's nuts. I say crazy a lot. I got to stop saying that.
Well, you sound like you're just in disbelief
I
of how
am.
successful you are.
I am, because you've been, like I said, this is my 33rd year, and you get turned down a lot, even to the point where I had to shoot my own special because they weren't going to buy it. And so when you hear no a lot, and then for something like this to happen, it's just like, oh, okay, so now I'm finally hearing a yes. So it's new to me, just like me telling you, it's new to me. So I get enjoyment telling that story.
Well, Joe Coy is with us here at Q104.3. You're not just participating in the New York Comedy Festival this year. Your show is the biggest show.
Oh, man.
You've got the big one.
Yeah.
Thursday, November 10th, Madison Square Garden.
Wow. And I told myself every time I played New York, I always told myself I'm not going inside Madison Square Garden unless I'm playing it. So I never went.
You've never been?
I've never been inside. I refused. And there were times where I could have went to see a concert. There were a couple of playoff games I could have went to. And I always told myself, don't go in that building unless you're playing it.
But that's confidence.
Yeah. I wanted that one.
You knew that you would one day be on that stage.
Oh, yeah. We were going to play that no matter what. I was going to play it.
Well, it's the most famous arena in the world.
Are you kidding me? Yeah, I know. It's the Mecca. It's the Holy Grail. It's everything. It's, when Jordan came out of retirement, the one thing he said, over Chicago, I always remember this as a kid. When he came back, he said the one place he missed was the Mecca, Madison Square Garden, and he couldn't wait to go back to the Garden. So, yeah, that's how meaningful that place is. I mean, Ali fought there. The Beatles played there. James Brown played there. It's like, come on, now I get to play there. It's amazing.
Well, it's Thursday, November 10th, 8 p.m., and tickets are on sale now. You can go to nycomedyfestival.com to pick up tickets. Well, television, stand-up, movies, theaters, arenas.
Yeah.
What's next for Joe Coy?
I want to direct. I want to, I caught the bug with these specials, and now I want to keep that door open for other people that are having problems not being noticed in the business and deserve that shot. And I'm not doing it for my friends. Oh, you've been a friend of mine for a long time. Let me get your special on. I'm not doing that. There's comics that are killers, that are beasts. And for some reason, they don't have a special, and I don't get it. So I want to EP it and I want to direct it and I want to get it out there. I'll say their names: Asif Ali, Mateo Lane. Who else? Mateo Lane, Asif Ali. Who? Who else do I want to mess with? There's so many that I just want to get. J.R. de Guzman, Beth Stelling. Even though she has one, I want to do one with her. Like there's these people that I want to showcase their talent and get it out there and shoot it. And
Joe, I was wondering, when did you first realize you were funny?
I knew I was funny like at 9. I think 9 or 8. I was making like adults laugh. And I remember people saying, "Oh, he's a comedian." I didn't know what a comedian was. And then my friend, William, he gave me a Richard Pryor tape. And that changed my life because I was like, "Oh, that's a comedian." And I would listen to it. And then Eddie Murphy Delirious came out on HBO. And that's when I was like, "Oh, I'm going to do that when I graduate high school." And then in 1987, I used my mom's credit card and bought tickets to see Eddie Murphy live at the Seattle Coliseum. And this is back in the day. They didn't have Ticketmaster. There was no websites, right? So you had to phone it in, and whoever's taking the phone call had to determine whether or not that's your card or not, or if you're a minor, use the credit card. And I would use my mom's voice. Literally, that's how I got a hold of those tickets.
You use your mom. Mom.
I was just like, "I need 2 tickets to see the Eddie Murphy comedy show, please." And they were like, "Oh yeah, of course, ma'am. How many tickets you want and how much do you want to spend?" "Oh, the best seats that money can buy." Obviously, the best seats that money can buy. And I literally got these 2 tickets. I had to go to this place called Bon Marché because they didn't even have a Ticketmaster building. It was like a kiosk inside of a department store. And I went there after school and picked up my tickets. And my mom's name is Josephine, and I'm Joseph. So it was easy to get those tickets. And I saw Eddie Murphy live at Seattle Coliseum. I remember sitting there. I was row 15, and I remember looking up at the 300 section, and it was packed. And I was just like, I cannot believe this many people are here to see this guy. And then fast forward to last year, I sold that same arena out. And I sat in the same seats that I sat in with my son. And I was like, this is where I sat when I was your age to see Eddie Murphy. So it was cool.
And Eddie Murphy played Madison Square.
I know. That's where Raw was shot. Dude, I know the whole thing. Robert Townsend directed it. I remember Keaton Ivory Wayans wrote the opening scene, and Eddie just crushed it. He annihilated that concert. And not too many people know this. When Eddie did his first 2 specials, you can critique it all you want, but just remember that he was 20 years old. 20. Like he was a man on stage. Like when you watch him, you're like he commanded that stage with just like a 30-year-old vet, like a 30-year-old vet. Like he's been in the game for so long. He wasn't, man. He was just a kid, and he crushed it. So you kind of understand why he was doing the jokes that he did or whatever. But it's just like, it was amazing. It was so amazing to see how groomed he was and how well he was on stage.
Well, the brand new Netflix special just premiered a couple days ago.
Yeah.
Joe Coy live at the Los Angeles Forum.
Yes. Live. I love that. I love that title. And Netflix is all about titles. So they whenever you shoot a special, the first thing they ask you when you get off stage is, have you thought of a title? Is there a joke that you want to name it? Like, is there something that stands out? Like, and I always say I don't have anything. Like I do it all the time because I don't like giving it titles. And because when I was a kid, I always loved seeing like the name of a band, and then you see the album that says Live, right? Mm-hmm. That's the album you want to buy. You don't want to buy the regular album. You want to buy the one that says Live. So, or like even Richard Pryor Live, or Robin Williams Live at the Met. Like those are the ones that stand out,
Meanwhile, your show at Madison Square Garden in November does have a name.
Which one? Madison Square Garden. Oh, yeah.
Funny is Funny.
The Funny is Funny tour. Yeah, but if I were to shoot it, I would definitely call that live at Madison Square Garden. You bet I am. Yes, you have to.
Okay, it's shameless plug time.
Okay.
So, what do you got going on that we don't know about that you want to tell people about?
I nothing. This is it.
What,
just being on your show.
I guess podcast or anything.
No. I don't do podcasts. I used to. I just don't do it anymore.
Everybody's got a podcast. You're the only one that doesn't have a podcast.
Yeah, the plug. The thing is I was feeling like this shift, right? And there's like I love stand-up comedy. I love it so much, and that's what I want to be known for, my stand-up, and not acting, not nothing else but stand-up. And I noticed that, when you do a pod, people are like, oh yeah, I love your podcast. I don't want to hear that. You know what I mean? I love your special, and that's all I want. So I stopped doing that like 2 years ago.
Especially the special that hasn't even been done yet.
Yeah.
It's that special.
It's that special.
Joe Coy,
yes.
live. Madison
Square Garden. Let's go.
All right. Thursday,
November 10th.
November 10th, you'll see him there live, 8 p.m.
You know what else? I will do a shameless plug. My Easter Sunday went to theaters for 2 months, and now it's on demand, so you can go and watch Easter Sunday, my movie. So you can catch that on demand. So there's a shameless plug.
Okay.
Yes.
Joe Coy, thank you for spending time with us.
Thank you, Joe.
Oh, thank you for the coffee.
You're welcome. Come back and I'll give you another.
I know you will.
New York's classic rock. Q1043.